Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Today we are reading the verse from 3rd canto, 7th chapter, 13th verse. Yadindriyo paramotha drishtatmani pareharo viliyante tada klesha sam suptyeva kritashnah. Mathaji, do you want to? Yadindriyo paramotha drashtatmani pareharo viliyante tada klesha samsupsyeva krishnashaha. Yadendriyo paramotha drishtatmani pareharo viliyante tada klesha samsuptisyeva kritnashaha. Yada, when indriya senses, upurama satisfied, atha thus, drishya atmani onto the seer, the super soul, pare in the transcendence, hara onto the supreme personality of Godhead, viliyante become merged in, tada at that time, klesha miseries, samsuptsya one who has enjoyed sound sleep, eva like krishnashaha completely. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. When the senses are satisfied in the seer super soul, the personality of Godhead, and merge in him, all miseries are completely vanquished as after a sound sleep. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The quivering of the living entity, as described above, is due to the senses. Since the entire material existence is meant for sense gratification, the senses are the medium of material activities, and they cause the quivering of the steady soul. Therefore, these senses are to be detached from all such material activities. According to the impersonalists, the senses are stopped from work by merging the soul in the super soul, Brahman. The devotees, however, do not stop the material senses from acting, but they engage their transcendental senses in the service of the transcendence, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In either case, the activities of the senses in the material field are to be stopped by cultivation of knowledge, and if possible, they can be engaged in the service of the Lord. The senses are transcendental in nature, but their activities become polluted when contaminated by matter. We have to treat the senses to cure them of the material disease, not stop them from acting, as suggested by the impersonalist. In Bhagavad Gita 2.59, it is said that one ceases all material activities only when satisfied by contact with a better engagement. Consciousness is active by nature and cannot be stopped from working. Artificially stopping a mischievous child is not the real remedy. The child must be given some better engagement so that he will automatically stop causing mischief. In the same way, the mischievous activities of the senses can be stopped only by better engagement in relation with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When the eyes are engaged in seeing the beautiful form of the Lord, the tongue engaged in tasting prasada or remnants of foodstuffs offered to the Lord, the ears are engaged in hearing His glories, the hands engaged in cleaning the temple of the Lord, the legs engaged in visiting His temple, or when all the senses are engaged in transcendental variegatedness, then only can the transcendental senses become satiated and eternally free from material engagement. The Lord, as the super soul residing in everyone's heart, and as a Supreme Personality of Godhead in the transcendental world, beyond the material creation, is the seer of all our activities. Our activities must be so transcendentally situated that the Lord will be kind enough to look upon us favorably and engage us in His transcendental service. Then only can the senses be satisfied completely and be no longer troubled by material attraction. Jai, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So actually the purport of Srila Prabhupada is very nice. And I was reading it and I made a step, I made notes on it, point by point. And so first of all, in the previous verses, Maitreya Muni is describing how the living entity, how we are disturbed by our senses. So if we look at it, later Srila Prabhupada says, if we look at it, we come to this material world to enjoy only, right? But what happens, instead of enjoying, it basically disturbs us. I will just give one example directly was coming to my mind, and I will ask all of you to think and come with some example. When we are young, in our teenager age or something, right, there is natural attraction between girls and boys. So when we are naturally attracted, and let's say if someone is dating someone, and we think we are enjoying, right? Because if someone is not dating, then poor kids, they are under peer pressure. You don't even have a girlfriend or boyfriend, right? So when they start dating, then what happens? Does it really satisfy us? Actually, it disturbs us more. That is what I was thinking. It really disturbs us more because the small things, in relationship, if someone says something, we get disturbed. I see boys, when they don't have girlfriend, they are much more focused in studies. But the moment they have girlfriend, that's it. Their studies are gone down the hill, right? So this is the example I was thinking. And so we are trying to satisfy our senses, but instead of satisfying, it is agitating. I was listening one lecture, this is the beauty of Maya actually. That we think by doing that it will satisfy us, but if we really go into it, instead of satisfying us, it really disturbs us. So many things. So, and the things that feel like that is disturbing us, if you look at it deeply, it's our purification. I was listening to one point from Amol Leela Prabhu, and I really liked it. He was saying that most of the times when people criticize us or say something wrong, means not wrong, but they may be right about us, but if we have our own blind spots, we cannot see. So that time that person becomes like enemy for us at that moment. How can he say that, right? But it was so nice when he said it. Means we hear it all the time, but when he said it, just went to my heart. That basically they are doing a favor to us, and this is what Maya is basically. When they are doing favor to us, it looks like they are doing disfavor to us. How they are doing favor? They are like cutting our karmas, of course. And if they are bad mouthing against us, like if they are saying bad things about us, so we might have done something wrong. That's why they are doing it, right? But by bad mouthing us, they are taking our karma. I was I think in Guru Vani, it is written that it is good to have people around us who criticize us, so that our karma goes away. So if it see this is what how wonderful Maya is. That Prahlad Maharaj also praises Maya when those two. What were their names? Son of Shukracharya? Shanda and Amarka. So when they were teaching him this knowledge, then Prahlad Maharaj was saying, he was like so amazed. He was saying, I really offer my obeisances to the Lord, whose Maya is, it makes us think that this is our enemy, or that is our friend, although nothing is true. So that's how our senses are disturbed. If any of you can think of some example, some way we are trying to satisfy our senses. I'm thinking of one more example. If most of the times we want to make more friends, that's how I was earlier, very exuberant and going out and talking to. I used to talk so much and would make friends with everyone, whoever I come and meet with. And later on, I realized when I make too many friends, then it causes more disturbance to me. So now I'm very careful. I say very respectfully, I talk to everyone. But when it comes to friends, I have only one or two close friends. Otherwise, I think we all know how they cause disturbance to us. Yes. Yes, yes. And only dogs enjoy that home or money. Because in the yeah, I was listening to Srila Prabhupada's lecture, and he was when he was going on a walk with his disciples. So they were seeing, like, disciples were seeing big, big houses, and Srila Prabhupada could sense that they are getting enamored by those big, big houses. So Srila Prabhupada said, even demigods wouldn't come and urine over here. So, but then Srila Prabhupada says that, people who are living in those big, big houses, they're doing jobs, they're out of the home, day and night. Only dogs enjoy over there because dogs live there, right? And that reminds me of one more example. Alexandra Sikandar, right? We call him Sikandar. So when he came to India, he was going around and he saw one sage who was meditating. So the Sikandar said that you are simply wasting your time. I'm doing so many things. You're just sitting and meditating, you're good for nothing, right? Means you're not adding any value to the society. So the sage asked him that, why are you doing this? What are you doing? So he said, I'm conquering all the places. So the sage asked, why are you doing that? So he said, so that I will have so much power. What will you get with that much power? Then I will have money. What will you do with the money? Then I will have peace. So the sage said, but I am already having peace. So what is the point of, doing so many things to get the peace? So that's how we get disturbed. That's what Srila Prabhupada is saying, that in the above verses, Maitreya Rishi is saying that how our senses are, Srila Prabhupada used the word quivering, how the living entities starts quivering due to the contact of the material senses. And then Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport what are the senses. So senses are, basically we come here into this material world to enjoy, right? And senses are our gateways for enjoyment. I want to see beautiful things. And when we see beautiful things, then also it doesn't satisfy us because we become envious. How come that person has so much beauty or money? Then we have senses for hearing, and that also we become envious. That person has such a nice voice. So see how we are getting disturbed if we come in contact with senses. Then, so when this material world, we enjoy using senses, and the senses are grouped around the mind, because mind is the reservoir of all our desires. We have all the desires in our mind, and then we satisfy those desires using our senses. And then, so these are the senses. And then Srila Prabhupada is saying, the senses are the medium of our material activities, and they cause the quivering of the steady soul. Now, so what should we do? Srila Prabhupada says, that's why we should detach ourselves from the material activities of the senses. So there are two ways of doing it. Srila Prabhupada gives the example. One are the impersonalists. So impersonalists are, they say, okay, stop the senses completely. So Srila Prabhupada again gave one example, and there is one story in our ISKCON Desire Tree comic book section also. One guy is having a headache, bad headache. So the other people say, okay, if you're having headache, cut off your head. Okay? So if we cut off our head, what will remain? Nothing. So the impersonalists, they try to stop the senses. But if you look at it practically, it's not possible. We have to eat. To eat, we have to put something in our mouth. We have to hear. We cannot completely stop hearing. We have to see. We have to smell. Because those senses are there. We cannot stop. So that is one example. It means they try to do it, but still, like as my spiritual master, he always says, and Nidhananda Swami Maharaj, that we should all respect them, because at least, they are above the materialist who are trying to enjoy this material world, right? So they have understood the miseries of this material world. That's why they are trying to do that. So now the second way to do it, stop our material activities, is Srila Prabhupada is saying to engage our senses, and he uses the word transcendental senses. So he says we should engage our transcendental senses into the transcendental service of the Lord. So I was thinking transcendental senses. Then Satyananda Swami Maharaj, he has this near-death experience. I don't know if you have heard this lecture. So once he had severe pain in his stomach. He went for the surgery, and in the surgery it was a very intense surgery, and suddenly Satyananda Swami Maharaj says, he came out of the body and then he could see very clearly that doctors are operating on him. Then he says, he says, let me try to go outside and let's see what other devotee is doing, because he asked the other devotee, he requested the other devotee to pray for him when he's in surgery. So Satyananda Swami Maharaj says in very sweetly that devotees, since they don't get enough sleep, they are in services and everything, whatever time they get, they sleep. So, so he was saying maybe he's sleeping outside. So Satyananda Swami Maharaj was able to go outside and see, and he was like chanting and praying for Satyananda Swami Maharaj. He came back there, and there were other experiences he had, very amazing. I'll try to find a lecture. I heard that lecture. And then he had this experience of going out and seeing the light, white light, and the door was opening. But then again, he had to come back again, as if he's called back in this body again. So, but one thing I forgot, when Satyananda Swami Maharaj, when he left the body, at that time, he did not feel any pain, anything. It was just like freedom, completely from pain and everything. So then again, he went back. And there is another YouTube video I was watching recently. There is one white American lady who also had the similar experience. She was she had some severe disease of heart. So in order to cure her, they have to bring her to the level so that the dead body is clinically dead. But she is not dead. But the body is clinically dead because they had to operate the heart. So that moment, she also mentioned she left her body. Okay, and when she left her body, same experience she's saying, she felt no pain, nothing, she felt free. But now here we see the difference of consciousness. Even if we leave our body, we have the near-death experience. We have experience based on our consciousness. Like Satyananda Swami Maharaj's experience was spiritual. And this lady was experiencing that she's seeing her grandmother, because she was attached to her grandmother. See, wherever our attachments are, deep attachments, that is where it takes us. So then at that time, when I was taking Bhakti Shastri, I asked this question to the devotee who was giving us. I completely forgot his name. I'm sorry. He's a very wonderful devotee. I forgot his name. It was long time back, 2014, I think. So I asked him, how could he see? He was out of the body. Where was his eyes? So that time he told me that the soul has all the senses. So, but the senses are covered by our material body. So that is where Srila Prabhupada said, the devotee offers service using the transcendental senses. So the soul has the senses, and those senses are transcendental because those senses are not contaminated by matter. And but at the same time, we know currently our senses are contaminated. Right? I was reading Srila Prabhupada's purports. I just become so excited. He very scientifically he goes. And when I'm reading it, I see whatever questions I'm having, he's answering. But because when he was saying, I was thinking, but my senses are contaminated. What should I do? So there he's saying, but our senses are contaminated. And how our senses get contaminated? Because when it comes in touch with matter, so like just a water drop is pure, but when it falls on the ground, it becomes impure. And then we can purify the water. So similarly, we can purify our senses, contaminated senses. And Srila Prabhupada is stating this verse from Bhagavad Gita 2.59. I do not remember this verse. I don't have Bhagavad Gita with me. That is Raso, one who has the better engagement. So one, thank you Mataji. So one who has tasted the higher taste. Oh, thank you Prabhu. I'll just try to read it. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasavarjam raso apiyasya param drishtva nivartate. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though though the taste for the sense objects remain. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So we see that sometimes we are asked to restrict our diet. Like I took Ayurveda diet, and after that I never went to that again. It was like horrible for me. I did it for 6 months. I cannot eat this, I cannot eat that, this, that. But still I have, although I'm restricted from eating those things, but still I have taste for it. So similarly, even if, we restrict our senses, like, impersonalists, they are trying to restrict their senses. Okay? But still the taste remains. Srila Prabhupada gave examples so many times of Vishwamitra Muni. That how the Apsara came, it was Menaka, right? How Menaka came and suddenly he was agitated, he could not control himself. And then, of course, after that, he left again, but he lost all his power. Then, again, he started his austerities again. So, even if we try to control our senses, it is very difficult, right? But if we get the higher taste, it's very easier. Like earlier, I used to love watching movies. And I used to love hearing songs. But now, day before yesterday, my son said, Mama, I want to watch it. We want to spend time together. So I said, we can go for a ride. I tried to postpone it. So he said, no, Mama, I want to watch some movie. Then he decided of watching this movie, The Guilty. And when I was watching, they were using so many. I was seeing my threshold has gone so down. Earlier I was like cursing words, I could not take earlier. I still cannot take it now. That's a challenge I will have to face when I start my counseling. I cannot tell the clients don't use those words, but I cannot hear cursing words. It causes disturbance in me internally. So, but when I was watching that movie, I could see that I was not really into it. The movie was good, but I was so disturbed. I had to go for a walk, release whatever I have seen. Only one message I got out of the movie. What we hear, what we see sometimes is not true. So we should always give benefit of doubt to others. And like when we are engaging with in our office or in temple or anywhere else, if I see someone, maybe why they're behaving, I don't know what is going on in their life. So that is only a message I got. But I'm saying that now I don't have interest in that. Because now this is a practical, no, not practical. This is the example, my own example, I can say. So by hearing about Krishna, so those tastes, we naturally lose taste for those things. When the our consciousness slowly grows, like pig likes to eat the stool, but we we cannot even see, we close our nose and eyes and walk away. Because his consciousness is on that level, our consciousness is more evolved. So we don't like it, right? So as we purify our consciousness, our taste becomes more refined. That is the right way of saying. Taste becomes more refined. So that's what Srila Prabhupada is saying. And then he gives the example of a child. Child is, we know this example very well. The child is very naughty. If we ask him to sit straight, he won't, right? He or she, sorry. But if we give child some other activity, then we can do it. So, sorry. Similarly, he's saying that we should, instead of trying to stop the what is our purpose? Our purpose is to purify the senses, because even if we get merged into Brahman, Jyoti of Krishna, the senses are still there, and we will hanker for what we hanker right now. And this is how Srila Prabhupada will say, how all those hankerings are completely satisfied. Means, of course, I don't have the taste yet. What Maitreya Muni is saying at the end. But when the sages are saying, that means it's there and we are on the right path. By following this process, we will, by maybe millions of lifetimes, maybe we'll reach there. So, so we need to basically purify our senses from the material activities. By stopping, it's not possible, but by giving the higher taste. Like that verse again, Srila Rupa Goswami says that, he says it in the other way around, when he's in Nectar of Devotion, when he's glorifying the deity worship. And then he's saying, if you are attracted to your family members, if you are attracted to all the material activities, do not go and take darshan of Krishna, because then you will lose all your taste. So when we serve the deities, when we see the deities, then we are not attracted by our material body or someone else's material body. We naturally lose our attraction. And when we hear the loving activities of Krishna with his devotees, then we see that it's not only Krishna is beautiful, that our only eyes are satisfied, but at the same time, he's so loving, and his reciprocation is so wonderful. Like the Pandavas, Narad Muni says that, what did you do with the Pandavas? That they had gone through so much suffering. Their kingdom was taken away. Draupadi was insulted, and they lived in the forest, but still they are your pure devotees. Although they went through so many difficulties. So what taste? They never asked Krishna to fix things for them. So we don't know what they might be feeling inside. That even after going through so many difficulties, they did not develop the negative things in their heart. Like if we desire something intensely, if we don't get it, then we get angry. Then we'll find faults in all the people around us. His fault, her fault, his fault, her fault, right? But here, when devotees, they aspire for the love, like in Shikshastakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Yugayitam nimechena, right? So when he's not able to see Krishna, he hankers, and then the last verse is the highest mood of separation, the last verse of Shikshashtakam. Ashlishya Naman hatam karotu va Yayada Udatu lampato Mate praninathastu saibana paraha. So he's saying it doesn't matter whether you Ashlish is like hugging, right? Whether Krishna hugs me or he just does not adarshanan mam, right? He doesn't come in front of me, or even if he treats me badly, but I'm still his. Right? So we can see the difference in the consciousness, At one point, when we are materially hankering for something, we are burning out of pain that is caused by mind and intelligence. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is burning in separation of Krishna, he is feeling the immense happiness. Because in separation, the happiness more than in meeting. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like experiencing that immense happiness, bliss, ananda in separation with Krishna. So it is like contrast. So I'm thinking, what was the point I was making? Yeah, seeing the deities, by seeing, by hearing, our consciousness, when it evolves, then our taste becomes fineness. And when we have higher taste, we cannot go back to lower taste. So many examples of the pure devotees. We don't hear any pure devotee going to impersonalism. We see many impersonalists coming to devotion by the mercy of a devotee, by association of a pure devotee. So because the pure devotees are feeling so much happiness, bliss, like if someone has $1 million, why would that person go for a job that will pay him $10 per hour? And that also you are working hard like crazy and hearing all the things, nasty things, and envy, jealousy, competition. Why would he do that? He will just simply sit at home, watch movies or whatever. Right? So that's how when we have higher taste, we don't go to lower taste. Then the other things are naturally gone. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that's how we purify our senses. And a tongue, like it is naturally, like when we taste prasadam, we naturally don't want anything. It doesn't even, like when I go to a restaurant with our office colleagues or something, when I don't eat outside, they say, how do you, it is so much austerity. How do you do that? I said, do you really want to know how do I do that? I think you don't want to hear. So they asked me, no, we want to. So I said, I think otherwise how can we eat that junk? Means when I look at this food, I just feel the smell, it repulses me. How can you eat it? How can you eat something that is not offered to God? It is like, it just bad. Means it doesn't even taste good. It just agitates our senses. But when we eat prasadam, we naturally feel nourished internally. We feel that. I know a few people, like now we are so used to a prasadam, we have developed tolerance in the sense that we don't feel the change that we used to feel earlier when we would eat prasadam for the first time. I know one of my acquaintance, when they were going through the difficult time, we were sending them prasadam on different days. And she was telling me she cannot cook without onion garlic. But she was saying, Vishaka prasadam is so good. I don't know what do they put in the prasadam. I said, yeah, that's a mystery what they put in prasadam. Because they cook with so much love for Krishna and then offer it to Krishna. Then when the food is offered to Krishna, when it comes out, it's not normal food, it is spiritualized. Right? Krishna takes it and gives it back to us. So that's how when we engage our senses in service to Krishna, the lower taste is naturally gone. And now this is the beauty of Srila Prabhupada's purpose. At the end, he says, our activities must be so transcendently saturated that the Lord will be kind enough to look upon us favorably and engage us in his transcendental service. Then only can the senses be satisfied completely and be no longer troubled by the material attraction. So how he puts means he does not let us lose track of, so that we do not get deviated from the main aim, which is devotion. So here, in the verse, Maitreya Rishi is saying, when the senses are satisfied in the seer, the super soul, the personality of Godhead, immerse in him, all miseries are completely vanquished, as after his sound sleep. So now here at the end, Srila Prabhupada is saying, then only can the senses be satisfied completely and no longer troubled by the material attraction. So he's saying the same thing, and how he, took us and then told us how our senses can be all completely satisfied. So yeah, I think that's all I have. I will conclude. So if any point of discussion, please tell me. Something that comes to your mind, relatable. Mathaji, can you please come closer? I cannot hear you. Sorry. Huh? Can you say that from the beginning, Mataji? I didn't hear. Uh-huh. She didn't want to enter the body again. Yes, Mataji. Actually, that reminds me one more out-of-body experience that I read about one devotee. She's in Mayapur right now. I think she was in Pakistan, some place. I don't remember. Some town at the end near Russian country. So she was saying she was going through. Suddenly she was very sick, and she had this experience. So when she left her body, she thought she's going to die, and it was just so amazing. Her experience was very amazing. She was saying death is not easy, and we think that we will be able to remember Krishna easily at the time of death. But when she was saying her experience, she was saying that she was in so much pain and agony. She's thinking, I need to remember someone and I'm not able to. What do I need to do? Whom should I remember? She could not talk. And that time, she was not able to remember anything. And then she said that later on, the congregation she was in, that country, when that congregation people came to know that she is so sick, they did the kirtan for her. And then she said that she could feel the kirtan. And she said, so kirtan is not bound by the distance. Yeah. And she was saying when she heard the kirtan, then she was thinking that the whole life, the previous life, it was just going around her, just like a movie. And then she said, in that, the most beautiful parts were when she did the kirtan, and in her life. And then, amazingly, the nurse who was sitting by her, she said in a very stern manner, why are you crying? Because she had tears coming out from her eyes. She's trying to say, she cannot say Krishna's name. And then the nurse very strongly, means, like she was a Muslim. So she said very sternly, angrily, kind of, why are you crying? Why don't you chant Krishna's name? And internally she thanked her, the devotee, because then she said Krishna, she could hear Krishna. And then some other devotees came to her, and then, she explained her, she has Jagannathji, Baladevi, Subhadraji deities in her home. And then she could see, earlier she was thinking when she was in we hear that story so many times, right? The person is walking along the beach, in difficult times seeing two footsteps, right? Difficulty only one. So she said similar thing. She said that in her difficult times, earlier she used to think, why Krishna is not helping me? Because she was preaching in the Muslim countries. She was going through a lot of challenges. So she went through the court case and so many other things, and put into the jail and all those things. So she was saying why Krishna was not protecting, and then she could see when she was going through the whole life that how Jagannathji was with her in every moment of life and how he was protecting her. When I read her out of experience, out of body experience, it was so amazing. So then she came back to the body again. Then she asked that nurse, why do you tell me that? Why are you crying? Chant Krishna's name. She said, I don't know. It just came to my mind and I just did it. So the 2-3 things were very amazing for me. First, that when we do the kirtan for other people, it is like other devotees or people, it is, we should do it. Yes, that was very amazing experience for me. And then other was like I also have Jagannathji, Baldevji, Subhadraji at home. So yeah, so I could relate to her. I will try, Mathaji. I want to be there with Jagannathji. I will see. If I don't, because in the evening I have service, so if I go, I get headaches in the daytime. So if I have headache, then I may not be able to do my service. So I'm just, I'll see how I feel. But yeah, that out of life experience was so amazing. That told me we should always, when people say pray for me, or when we are doing kirtan for others, then sometimes I think that what good will it do? The person is over there. But when I heard this, I thought we should do it as our service to the other devotees actually. Oh, that's amazing. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing, because I always pray for my boys. It's nice. I will read it. We aspire for that day. Yeah. Prabhu, you want to share something? Uh-huh. Yes. Mm. She was not there. Yeah, because they don't allow anyone to go there during that time. Yeah. Mhm. Yes, 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 right. Everything is his energy, and Srila Prabhupada gives this example many times. His energy, and he can convert just like an expert electrician can convert uh, heat to cool, right? Similarly, Krishna can convert the energies from material energy to spiritual energy. Ah, yeah, it was by Krishna's mercy. Because, see, at the time of death, our mind goes to our attachments. I was listening to Satyananda Swami's one chanting japa retreat, and he was saying that he has seen the spiritualists dying at the time of death with tears that I wasted my life in not developing my relationship with Krishna. Because the thing is, until unless we develop our relationship with Krishna, how can we aspire to go there? Like till we are doing externally the services, then at one time we have to go internal and try to develop. And he was saying in that we have so many knots in our heart for our survival. For survival, we have not, like we are thinking, how will I maintain my body? I have to work and this and that, right? And there are other knots, like someone is our ego, pride, desire for, which is so deep, desire for pratishtha. So in English, what will we say for fame? Yeah, la, puja pratishtha, desire for fame. It is very strong. Even if we think we are not doing it for that, but if someone does not appreciate, then we feel hurt in our heart that we did so much, they did not even appreciate us. It is so deep. So those desires are very deep, and we do not have the strength to cut them. Only Krishna or his holy name or someone who is imbibed with the strength of Krishna's holy name can do it. So that's why he was saying that when we are chanting, like all the services we do, the aim is so that we can chant properly. So if we can, the only thing is, that is the only thing, the morning time we are doing it. So he was saying that when we are chanting, as Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, that we should keep the mantra in our heart and bring back our disturbed mind back to the mantra. So when we do that, then only we can, our heart can be transformed. Only it's so important, that's why to chant the holy names with the focused attention, and we have gotten the mercy of our spiritual master. He has given us the clean slate. So should I stop the Mike, how can we stop? Okay. Vanchikalpatarubheshya kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaः. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki